Hi everyone, my name's Sienna and I'm the content producer here at Seamwork. Today I'm going to share with you my sewing space. So I'm really lucky and I have a dedicated making area. It's not just for sewing, but yeah, I think one of my biggest indulgences is this cutting table. In the last space I lived, I had to cut everything out on the floor, so having this has really been a back saver. It's just two IKEA tables kind of smushed together, and then I added some additional storage with this plywood shelf in between the trestles. So yeah, I love it. So this is where I have my machine set up. This is my personal machine and serger, and then the Seamwork machine that I have to sew or to film all of our Seamwork classes. It's actually really nice to have two machines. I'm currently top stitching on that one and then constructing with this one. So yeah, two machines is actually really nice. I have my thread storage here, and these tables are height adjustable, which means that I can get pretty comfortable when I'm sewing. And then I have this vintage chair that's really handy for rolling back and forth between machines with. Yeah. In here is my closet. It's also where I store any patterns that I plan to make again. I have a rack that usually just lives inside the closet, but I hang all the patterns that I intend to make again, and they're just on pattern hooks and divided by garment type. This does take up a lot of space, but I really like that I don't ever have to fold to store things and iron them out anytime I want to make it. And I also think it looks really nice, but again, not for everyone. I love it. I have this full-length mirror. I think it's really handy for, assessing fit. So if you have the space, I highly recommend a full-length mirror. This is my pressing station. This is a pretty new ironing board to me. I love it because it is wider than a standard ironing board. I had to upgrade because I discovered that the ironing board that I had was completely rusted and was actually starting to stain things. But this one has a lot more space in between the metal bits so that it lets the steam through. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think it'll last a lot longer than the other one. It has this handy shelf underneath here, so I'm able to store like press cloths or tailor's hams or my clapper and point press. And then it also has a stand for my iron. I made this little bulletin board with just some Homosote that I got at a local hardware store, and then I stretched some cotton canvas over it. It's a really great material for pinning things to, so I have some project plans up here, and yeah, it's really inspiring. Once I finish a project, I take the sticky note with the flat drawing on it with the swatch, and then I put it in a notebook and jot down some notes about like fit and whether or not I like the pattern, or just any thoughts about how the project went. This IKEA rolling cart is kind of a catch-all. It has some tools that I use, like a mallet for installing hardware, and this tiny anvil for the same thing. It also houses my button collection. I mainly thrift all of my buttons when thrifting was a possibility. They're in jars here. I've also started buying rolls of elastic instead of individual packs, which has been super handy, and I'm pretty sure it's cheaper. And then just some various things like twill tape and back quarters for quilting projects. Another thing that I keep up here is this super handy thread chart. Since we can't really go into stores right now and get thread matches, this thing's been really handy. It pulls out and you can lay it on the fabric to get a good match. And the last thing I'm going to share today is this other pegboard that I have on this wall. It houses things that are really handy when I'm cutting on my cutting table, like these pattern weights, all of my cutting tools, and then my block printing supplies. It's from IKEA. Pretty sure they still carry all of it. Yeah, it's really handy. I think a pegboard is super nice to have in any sewing space. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that tour, and let me know if you have any questions about sources or how I store things. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Happy sewing!